Hey, Crosspointe. I'm sitting in my office here on Tuesday afternoon, and I want to take a few moments to recap for you what we talked about on Sunday, specifically this huge idea of raising $385,000 to make a revolutionary impact in the lives of some kids in Haiti that have been neglected and orphaned and forgotten, and this amazing opportunity that we have to be a part of purchasing 17 acres of land to create homes for them where they can have a mom and a dad that will care and nurture for them, where they can receive an education, and where lives and generations can be changed. And so very excited about that. If you weren't able to be with us on Sunday morning, then I would click the podcast link below where it explains the announcements and kind of walks through the details and the vision behind it and the why behind it. And so I'd really encourage you to check that out so that you can participate with us with what's going on with the offering this coming Sunday. A couple questions that I didn't address on Sunday morning that I think is good for us to know and understand as a community. One, if I'm you, I would be wondering, well, why this particular piece of property? Why this land in particular? And so one of the things I'd mentioned was that we were getting a huge discount on the land. Just to give you some perspective, the price of the land, again, for these 17 acres of beachfront property is being offered to us at $415,000. Now, we've raised around $30,000 of that already, from most of which from our own community that we've given already as a church. But we still have about $385,000 left to go. And so from some perspective, that just recently someone bought on that same beachfront a fourth of an acre and paid $85,000 for just a fourth of an acre. So you can see, obviously, we're getting an incredible deal for beachfront property there. But then another question might be, well, why don't we go inland? Does it need to be beachfront? Right now, the going price for acreage is about $30,000 there in that area of Haiti. And so even if we were to go inland, it still wouldn't be any cheaper for us than what's being offered to us at this beachfront land to go inland. Furthermore, we've researched lots of different properties around in the area. We've had developers on the ground, like I mentioned on Sunday, as well as Danny and Leanne Pye. They've researched lots of different land down there and haven't been able to find anywhere close to 17 acres of buildable land like this piece of property is. And so they found little parcels of land and broken down into smaller pieces, but not nearly any piece that's as big a chunk as this is. And so it makes a lot of sense economically and in terms of being wise stewards of the opportunity and of our resources for this land, even though it may seem like, wow, this is beachfront, could we do something else? And I think we get both great benefits, both from a stewardship end and from the beauty of the opportunity of having these kids wake up to this type of view in the morning. Something else that I think is important for us to understand about the historical context of what's happened. About 6 years ago, the owner of the land was a Canadian businessman, and he was actually the one who began the Haitian Children's Home and began it more of an orphanage, not as a family kind of environment, but more of an orphanage. And he had these kids on that land, many of the same kids that are still in the home now. And he promised the kids that this would be their land someday. And so many times he would have them out there playing on it, as they do now on a regular basis, and had cast vision for them that this was going to be their land someday. But for personal reasons, he decided to pull out of Haiti about 3 years ago, and that's when he found Danny and Leanne to kind of come in and take over the home. And at the time, he offered to sell it to Danny and Leanne, but they didn't have the funds then, nor supporting churches and partners like us to come alongside them at that point. And so this Canadian businessman went and sold it to a businessman there in Haiti, and he's the one who owns the property now. And so for a lot of reasons, we feel like, this is part of us helping to redeem a promise and helping us to recapture the dream that these kids have had for years and hung on to. And so it's a great privilege to be a part of that. Just a couple of weeks ago, Steve Doherty and his life group went down to Haiti, and so while he was down there, I asked him to shoot some video for us of the land and give us a little more up close and personal look at what's going on down there and the vision of it. And so check this out.
This is where they would put the houses for the families, right up through this area. This is where kids would live with parents. This is where they would, many of them for the first time in their life, have a house with a roof. This is where the missionaries that would come to the area, they would get to stay here right with the families. This is also where we're dreaming about just being able to take care of kids. Danny was talking about the fact that a lot of kids can't come to school because they're sick, and they're sick because they don't have clean water. And so just the ability to put kids here and to provide fresh drinking water so that they could go to school and so they can break these cycles of not being able to be consistent. And so this right here, this part of land right here, is where these kids would begin to live and begin to break those cycles and begin to understand what it means to live in a family unit and become healthy in every sense of the word. It's a community of communities, and so the homes will be in two here and two there and two there. They won't be all in one facility eating in a cafeteria like a big camp or something like that, but it will be these two homes are full of kids that are learning how to live in community, and then these two homes, Danny describes it as like a cul-de-sac. All the houses have different colors, and all the houses have their own personality and have different people in them, but there's a closeness, and there's a family kind of quality about it, just spread out over this beautiful piece of property. This rock is pretty treacherous, but what they'll do is they'll come in and they'll hire out hundreds of people to clear this wherever they build a building. And so, pretty big project, lots of people, and the cool thing is as we're building it, we're doing ministry because we're employing people, and we're letting men have their dignity to do something with their hands and their backs and to get paid well for doing it, and then have the satisfaction of completing such an awesome thing. So the ministry doesn't just come in the fact that there'll be school buildings and houses and all that, which is obviously cool, but then employing so many to get to do such a cool thing. This is typically a view given to those that can afford it. I love the idea of this being the view for the least of these. I think that's very Jesus. I think that's very much a picture of redemption. That these kids could go from having very little to nothing, to having a family and to having love and to waking up. And they're the ones that get to see this. Have an amazing opportunity, this window that's kind of been thrown open for us to step in and to make this happen. And I love God giving us this opportunity to use our imagination and think about what it would look like, what love, what resurrection, what grace, and God's power, what it would look like put into action like this. What an amazing opportunity we've been given. So I'm excited about what it's going to mean to sink our teeth into this and to make this happen, and to take responsibility and to be good stewards of this opportunity. Because when the window closes, I'm sure there'll be other things, but this, I mean, this is exactly what Jesus is about. Giving these kids their life back in one of the most gorgeous places on the planet, and we get a chance to make that happen. So let's make it happen.
Well, I'm with Steve, and I can't think of a more beautiful way to see the gospel lived out by a community of Jesus followers than being able to be a part of something like this. You know, one of the things that I want to make clear is just how proud I am of our community already. That the money that you give every week and every month is already going toward making a huge difference in the lives of people here in Cary, in the Greater Triangle area, in Kenya, in the Durham Rescue Mission, and already in Haiti. That what you're giving is going toward helping transform people's lives. But what we found ourselves is in this moment, in this unique window of an opportunity where it was bigger than what we could contain within our own budget. And so we're simply coming and saying, what would it look like for all of us to step out in faith, even greater than we already have, and to take even bigger gulp and allow God to prove himself faithful to us again and again. And so I'm excited to explore what radical generosity looks like. I'm excited to see what it looks like when all of us rally together and desire to be a part of something bigger than ourselves and are willing to sacrifice in a huge, significant way to see something amazing happen. And so I'm excited for the moment that's waiting for us, and I'm excited to share with you all this Sunday. The following Sunday, we'll announce how much money comes in, and we'll celebrate all that God has done. So below in this email, I've included some different links for you to click on. I've tried to answer some more questions and give you some more information. But if you have any other questions this week, feel free to contact my office, and we'll be able to help you and answer any questions for you. So love you guys. Look forward to seeing you Sunday, and I'm out.